What if I told you someone has already influenced at least one decision you made today and you never even noticed? It wasn't magic, it wasn't hypnotism, it was psychology. The human brain loves shortcuts, and sometimes those shortcuts let other people quietly guide your choices without your permission. The scary part? Most of these tricks are used every single day, at work, online, in stores, and even by people you trust. By the end of this video, you'll never look at everyday conversations the same way again. Trick number 1, the foot in the door effect. Imagine someone asks you for a tiny favor. Can you answer one quick question? It seems harmless, right? You say yes. A few minutes later, they ask for something slightly bigger, then something even bigger. Without realizing it, you've already committed. Psychologists discovered that once people agree to something small, they naturally want to stay consistent with that first decision. Your brain tells you, I'm the kind of person who helps, so saying no later suddenly feels uncomfortable. This isn't because someone forced you, it's because your own mind wants to avoid feeling inconsistent. That's why charities, salespeople, and marketers often begin with the smallest possible request. But here's the strange part. The first request is usually not the real goal. It's simply opening the door. Trick number 2, social proof. Imagine walking past two restaurants. One is empty, the other has people waiting outside. Which one feels better? Most people pick the busy one. Your brain assumes that if many people are doing something, it must be safe. That's called social proof. It's one reason online stores proudly display thousands of reviews. It's why videos with millions of views attract even more viewers. And it's why trends spread faster than facts. Here's what's unsettling. Sometimes those crowds are carefully created. Fake reviews, bot followers, artificial popularity. Your brain reacts before it has time to question whether the crowd is even real. And once enough people appear convinced, you begin convincing yourself. Trick number 3, the power of authority. Imagine two strangers giving you the exact same advice. One wears casual clothes, the other wears a white lab coat. Who seems more believable? Most people trust the second person instantly, not because the advice is better, because authority changes perception. Researchers have repeatedly shown that people often obey instructions from someone who appears powerful, even when those instructions feel uncomfortable. That's why uniforms matter, titles matter, expensive offices matter. But here's the hidden danger. Authority doesn't always equal expertise. Someone can look confident, speak confidently, even sound intelligent, and still be completely wrong. Your brain often mistakes confidence for truth, and manipulators know it. Trick number 4, reciprocity. Have you ever received a free sample? A small gift, an unexpected favor? It feels good, but something else happens inside your mind. You suddenly feel like you owe something in return. That's reciprocity, one of the strongest psychological forces in human behavior. Restaurants sometimes give customers free mints. Stores offer complimentary gifts. Influencers give away free advice. None of these are necessarily bad, but they all activate the same mental rule. I've shared, so now you should share. The gift doesn't even have to be valuable. It just has to create the feeling of obligation. And once that feeling appears, your decisions become easier to influence. But the next trick is even more powerful because it doesn't ask you for anything. Instead, it quietly changes the way you see yourself. And once that happens, you may obey without anyone saying a single word. What if the biggest influence on your decisions isn't other people? What if it's the image you have of yourself? That's exactly where the next psychological trick begins. Trick number 5, the labeling effect. You become what you're called. Imagine someone tells you, "You're such a responsible person." It sounds like a compliment, but your brain hears something else, a new identity. Without realizing it, you begin acting in ways that match that label. Psychologists have found that people often change their behavior to stay consistent with how they believe others see them. That's why a manager might say, "I know you're someone who always finishes on time." Or a friend says, "You're the kind of person I can always count on." These statements don't just describe you, they quietly guide your future choices. Here's the twist. Manipulators sometimes use positive labels not to encourage you, but to make you feel pressured to live up to them. The label becomes invisible handcuffs, and saying no suddenly feels like betraying your own identity. Trick number 6, scarcity. A product is available today. You ignore it. Then you see one message. Only 3 left. Suddenly, it feels valuable. When you believe time is running out, logic often takes a back seat, and urgency becomes your decision maker. Before you know it, you've agreed to something you would have rejected if you'd simply waited one more day. Trick number 7, emotional contagion. Have you ever walked into a room where everyone looked nervous and suddenly you felt nervous too? No one spoke to you, no one explained anything, yet your emotions changed. Your brain constantly copies the feelings of people around you. If everyone seems excited, you become excited. If everyone panics, your heart starts racing too. If everyone agrees, disagreeing suddenly feels uncomfortable. And before long, people begin following the group without stopping to ask a simple question. Is this actually what I believe? That's how obedience often begins, not with force, but with emotion. Here's the realization that ties everything together. None of these psychological tricks control your mind completely. They simply influence the shortcuts your brain naturally takes. The foot in the door effect, social proof, authority, reciprocity, labeling, scarcity, emotional contagion. Individually, they seem harmless. Combined, they can quietly shape your choices, your habits, and sometimes even your future. The good news is, the moment you recognize these patterns, they begin losing their power. Because awareness creates distance, and distance gives you the chance to pause, think, and choose for yourself. Awareness is your greatest defense. The next time someone pressures you, or a crowd pulls you in, or a deal feels too urgent to ignore, ask yourself one simple question. Am I making this decision, or is someone making it for me? That single question could protect you from manipulation more than any psychological trick ever could. If you've ever realized you were influenced without noticing, you're not alone. Subscribe to Human Secrets Hub, because understanding people and understanding yourself might be the most powerful skill you'll ever learn.